Hi and welcome. Today I'm making a mixed media art card, and I'm starting with some Bristol smooth paper, and I'm adding some distress ink with my blending tool, and it's the color Stormy Sky. So I'm just making sure it gets all covered. I use the little piece of paper just so I don't leave fingerprints or smudge the ink. Now, you probably saw this sitting aside. I've had that sitting on my desk for probably a week, and it has some Oxide spray on it and dried. And I thought, well, let me try I know it can re-wet. It always can re-wet unless you seal it. So I'm just going to put it on top and just see what it does. That was my whole intent on this background. Just see what that looks like. And it comes away a little wet, but oh my gosh, you can't really tell from the camera until it dries, but it was so pretty. It's probably one of my favorite backgrounds ever. But, and I think part of it was due to that it was an oxide spray. And so it just kind of oxidized and was blue and just all sorts of, um, it just was so pretty that now you can kind of see how pretty it is. And it's darker green on the bottom and it kind of fades to very, very light on the top. So that's my starting point. Um, and then I'm going to take some of my pot of gold, and it won't be in the description because I've had it for a long time and I've tried to find where you could get it and I can't. So you're gonna have to use some. I know there's other people that use things for a nice gold splatter. Um, I don't remember what it is because I never needed to know. Because this does a really nice gold splatter. And I did mainly at the top because that's mainly what you're gonna see. I kind of have, for the most part, planned out what this is going to look like. Kind of. Actually, still I'm debating between two of the main focal points. And now I'm gonna do a little vintage photo around the edges, and I will do a splatter of vintage photo, but I think I do that after, almost last, as a afterthought, because I remember having to cover up the focal image to add the vintage photo splatters. And you really don't need them. I think the background's beautiful enough. I could have gone either way. I think it was pretty enough not to have to add any background. I'm starting to prep and lay out some things that are going to go behind the focal image. Everything up top here is digital links to, will be in the digital links to Etsy. And so I'm just, those three things there are all digital links. Oh yes, and the little number. I love that little number. So here I don't know if I actually try out the bird or not, but this is from a digital download. The flower is on a background, and I cut the background away, and I just really love how it looks on this card. It just is so pretty. I loved it so much, and I do this with my favorites. I took a picture of it. Of course, I already have the pictures because for this I take the picture. But I took the picture, I cropped it down just to the image of the card, and I make it my phone background. You know how you have your screen, and I love it. That way every time I turn my phone on, I can see it. I do that with a lot of them. I got it for all seasons. I can change them up, but I probably have 30 different pictures of my art that's in the background of my phone. Okay, so I added a stamped, that would be field notes circle, I believe, that I put behind on the left side of the plant. And then this is the number strip at the bottom is a Tim Holtz number strip. And so I'm starting to glue down, and I'm trying to leave things all where they are so that I lay it down in the same position. So I always start from the back, so that one piece is the back. The butterfly only on the body portion so that the wings can lift from the page, and I encourage the wings to lift a little bit. I don't think I realized how much I was going to enjoy the distressed circles, because it comes in two sizes, the big circles and the little circles. And maybe it was even in a download with something else that it wasn't the circles I bought it for. I don't recall. But I use those circles a lot. And I just love adding a circle on top of a squarish background. I just think it adds a lot to it. This is a pretty easy one, actually, especially if you have digital things to use. But if you don't, you can use paper, old papers and things. But it's really, and stamps. You could do stamp things on paper and cut them out. But really, it's a pretty easy one. And you can tell by the length of the video that it was pretty quick. So I added the number strip, and here's where I just have decided I want to add a little bit more distress ink. So I'm going to do some splatters. I'm going to cover my flowers. I really don't care about anything else, but it's totally fine if it gets a little Distress ink splatter, but I really don't want it on the white of the flower. And there again, I think this piece would have been fine without the splatter. And then I'm thinking I add more distress ink around the edges to make the edges darker, because they certainly look darker in the piece I'm looking at right now. And I kind of bring it in a little bit. Now at the top corner, one of the splatters must not have been dry, because you can see how it got real dark in a glob right there. And so a way to make that much less visible is I take like either an old wet wipe that's dry or a paper towel, and right here I'm dipping it in water and then just pressing it off. I'm not spreading it around anymore. I'm just pressing it off, and it's almost like it's collecting the brown that was down there. And I think as often as you do it, more of it will come up. I don't think I'd ever be able to get all that brown up. It would leave some. But see how much better that looks just by the little bit of pressing I did right there. And the last thing I'm going to do is punch my hole for my eyelet. This is a ring art journal, and so I intended to go on a ring with a bunch of other art. And it's getting kind of full. This one's not laying too flat when I put it on, so I may have to start another one. I have two different sizes of rings. This is I actually had another one that was much larger, probably twice the size of this, and then this is my medium, and then I have that mini with the tabs on. And there it is on the rings. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this project. Either way, please have an awesome day.